Yes, Wrexham are back in the Football League, and joining us now to chat about that is the Executive Director at the club, familiar face on the documentary series, of course, Humphrey Ker. Hi, Humphrey.
Hello, good afternoon.
It had been quite lively since Saturday evening. Was it a late night? I'm guessing it probably was.
I think that's fair to say, yes. Yeah, I mean, I was a bit of a lightweight and a bit overwhelmed, really, and slunk off quite early, but... it's the footage of our players in the McDonald's on the high street at 2 a.m. is starting to trickle in, and we're starting to build a picture like detectives of what they got up to on the night in question. And it looks like they and everyone in the town made the most of it.
You're kind of, you're kind of to blame for this, aren't you? Because it was you that was showing Rob McElhenney the football and saying, this is the game I love, and he was watching games with you. So it was kind of you that gave him the bug, wasn't it?
Yes, to a certain extent. I often use the analogy of it, though, that it's a bit like I gave my friend a packet of seeds and was like, "Oh, have you ever seen these? Roses are good." And then he planted them and watered them and put the manure on and pruned them, and this incredible rose bush grew up. So yeah, I mean, I was there at the start, and that's a great privilege, and that's been part of my journey to this point. Has been trying to act as a kind of guide for them to the world of football. And so far it's been quite fun. It's been a good 2 years.
That's great. Our National League correspondent reckons that there's not much difference between that league and League Two, so there's no reason why they shouldn't do really well next season.
Yeah, well, we sort of built this squad with an eye to trying to go and compete in League Two. And as you say, I completely agree that the difference between the top 5-10 in the National League and the bottom 5-10 in League Two is negligible, and we've this year, obviously it's the FA Cup, and it's a very different thing, but we've gone toe to toe with Coventry and Sheffield United over two iterations of the FA Cup ties this year, and we're hoping that we can go and make a big splash in League Two.
Yeah. I've said on the show before, one of the amazing things is not just the fact that you guys and the owners have embraced the town and the team and the club. It's that Rob and Ryan have fallen in love with football, and especially maybe you'd eased Rob into it, but kind of Ryan coming to it late, sort of coaxed into it by Rob, but they've loved the game, they've loved the drama of the game, and it's lovely to watch two guys fall in love with a game that we already love.
Yeah, well, they've come to it with I think both of them played it at one time or another as kids, but in the US and in Canada, that has historically tended to fall away and be replaced by American football or baseball or basketball as the main sport that they care about. So they kind of they came very, very fresh to it, and the thing they fell in love with, funnily enough, wasn't the action on the pitch. It was what happens in the stands and what happens in the town on a match day and all those things. That was what really kind of astonished them. And then I think they've caught the bug actually with the football itself. I mean, if you watch the documentary, you can see the game, which was our FA Trophy semi-final against Stockport last year, where Ryan suddenly, it just clicked for him. He was into it, he was interested in it, he was excited to be there. It was always something he was taking very seriously, but it was quite academic before. And I think then when Paul, because essentially, for those that aren't intimately familiar with our FA Trophy games of last season, Paul Mullin scored 2 goals in the last minute, 90th, 93rd minute to beat Stockport, who we were trying to chase down in the league at the time, and it gave us a real belief that we were going to catch them. Ultimately, we didn't, but that was the day everybody started to think, "Oh my God, I think we're going to overhaul them here." Albeit it's in the trophy, but it was just this feeling of like, maybe we are better than them. And you see him just fall in love, and it has been ever since. That has been exactly at the very forefront of his mind. I think we've today alone there've been 20-30 messages in the WhatsApp group. They've only just woke up over their side of the pond, and already we're talking about, when's this? Is there going to be a parade? When's that going to be? What's the plan? Like, how's this player doing? I know so-and-so picked up a knock. Is he going to be available for Saturday? And that, that's a dead rubber game, but they want to know everything. They just want to live it.
Well, not if Torquay wins 7-0. It's not dead.
Yeah, that's what
That's true.
Our producer John and Charlie Baker very much hoping that you'll lay
Yes.
down. It's a big week of celebrating for the boys, but
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have to admit my friendship and relationship with John and Charlie, just in case anything mad does happen. I've got no say in team selection on Saturday. So that's got nothing to do with me.
yeah.
You mentioned Paul Mullin there, and he did impress in the games against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
How good is he, and is he good enough for what level? I mean,
Well, you could feel he could play in the looking at.
I mean, putting the ball in the net is putting the ball in the net, isn't it?
And what a goal
Yeah.
that was the other day. That second goal of the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, Paul's an extraordinary player. I mean, we cannot believe our luck of getting our hands on him, because there's always a lot of speculation online. Oh, we're paying him, 10 million quid a year, or we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing the other. As is so often the case in football, transfers can come down to some quite strangely mundane things. I mean, ultimately, he was at Cambridge United. He wanted to move back to Liverpool. He's just had a son, wanted to be with his family, didn't want to be driving 2.5 hours every day to training. And he was getting offers from clubs in League One and things like that, but they were all down south. They're in London and Kent and wherever else it may be. So we were poised. Yes, we had the resources to be able to match offers for League Two, League One clubs, but we also, the main thing was we just geographically were much better for him. And then subsequently, we discovered that he's an even better player than we thought and hoped. And as you say, he absolutely terrorised both Coventry and Sheffield United, who are two top championship teams. I mean, I think he's, the sky's the limit. I mean, we're hoping that he will travel with us up the leagues and still be banging them in when we are 1 or 2 levels above where we're going to be next year.
There was a surreal moment at the end of the game, wasn't there, when Ryan Reynolds was on the pitch, Deadpool's on the pitch, talking up the quality of Boreham Wood's defending. It's like a sort of parallel universe, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited because I really hope that it has had a knock-on effect, and that people around the UK and beyond have realised how great lower league football is. I mean, I'm the perfect example of, as you can tell from my thick Bootle accent, I grew up as a Liverpool fan in Berkshire. And, I'm the perfect example of someone who got seduced by the glamour of the Premier League and was like, oh, that's why I want to do that. All my mates at school talk about that. That's what I want to be into. But there is so much brilliant, vibrant, dramatic, exciting football happening right on people's doorsteps. You can get in for anywhere from 6 to 20 quid into watch, lower league grounds all around the country, and you'll have a brilliant, brilliant afternoon. So, yeah, I hope if anything else we've done, if a few people have decide to go and see Altrincham or Boreham Wood or whoever it is, then that's a brilliant knock-on effect.
What would it take to go from the National League to the Premier League?
What would it take? Yeah, I mean, so that brings up the FFP thing, doesn't it? As you rise through the leagues, is that?
Yeah.
I mean, your crowds are good. You're building the new stand as well, which will increase
Yeah.
it. So you think from your point of view, you think you'll be able to balance the books from that point of view?
Definitely think we'll be able to balance the books in the near future. I mean, we sold 25,000 kits this season, and we've ordered 35,000 for next year because we know that we'll sell that. I mean, that's 35,000. By the way, that's the pre-Christmas order. So if we shift a lot of those over the course of the summer, we'll be ordering more in time for Christmas. And that is, I mean, that's extraordinary. That's a lot for a championship club. So, in that area, for FFP, yes, is not a huge concern of ours. We've obviously got to abide by it and take it seriously, but we know that our revenue is extraordinary for a club at this level. To get to the Premier League, yes, you need good luck, you need good judgment, you need to make the right signings, the right appointments into different roles as we accrue more roles as we go forward, whether it's head of data analysis or things that we at this present time don't have. All of those choices have to be good. And then, ultimately you need a shed load of cash, because nowadays to make that jump from to make the jump from the bottom half of the championship to the top half of the championship, you need a fair wodge of money. And then, ultimately, if we need to go up, then, if we want to go up, then probably we would need to bring in outside investment. But that's not something that we're too worried about, because at the moment we have people knocking on our door a lot saying, oh, can we invest? Can we partner with you? Can we do this? Can we do that? And, at the moment we don't need it. And the moment we very much like the way we do things, but, in due course, there may be a point where, I've said this before in a slightly facetious way, but we need to find someone who's like, yeah, I'll flush 200 million quid on a bunch of players in the hope that you can get up into the Premier League. it's more sophisticated than that. Anyone who's listening who's thinking of investing, and we would treat your money with great respect. But that's the sort of stupid way of putting it. But yes, you need that big investment. But for us, we look at Luton Town, who beat us in a playoff shootout not that long ago, and we look at Brighton and Brentford and many other teams that we have locked horns with not that long ago, and say, well, if they can do it, why can't we?
And very quickly, your life as well, talking of surreal moments and parallel universes. You're currently in American Auto, the big US sitcom. People can see you in that.
I am.
Yet, on another day, you can be dealing with the kind of mundane business of running a lower league football club and sitting in on meetings. There must have been times you think, what is going on here?
Oh, I mean, I think that all day, every day, really, on wherever I am, whatever I'm doing. I've been incredibly fortunate the last couple of years. Yeah, I will sometimes find myself sort of sitting in like a chair, having makeup put on my face in America to start filming, and then get an email that's like, Altrincham said they won't give us enough car parking spaces for all the directors next week. What should we do? Other important matters of state. I picked Altrincham at random. They're always very kind and helpful. I'm sure it was. I'm sure they always give us the right parking spaces. But yeah, it's bizarre. But again, I'm very, very fortunate because one of the things that both Rob and Ryan said very early on, and we've continued with this philosophy, is recognizing that we don't know how to run a football club. We understand the ethos of what's required, and we're learning fast, but we surrounded ourselves with people who do know how to run a football club. And our philosophy is we should empower them and support them and not interfere. The day that one of us is like, oh, we should be playing let's go to 4-4-2 from this 3-5-2 and start interfering, I think is the day that disaster beckons.
Can you ring Todd Bodie up and tell him that?
And you're a bit of Chelsea
But that's absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
that's exactly what Bodie and the other guy should have done. They shouldn't have got involved.
Well, you don't expect Humphrey because they're going to get Chelsea in the cup and it's all going to kick off. He's already upset Altrincham.
Well, we're playing them in a friendly on July.
Of course you are.
Right.
That's
or
right.
16th or something, whenever it is, coming up soon.
That'll be them trying to nick Mullin, won't it?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
The offer comes in for 25 million. Well, Humphrey, many congratulations. We look forward to the story continuing. Good to talk to you. Thanks a lot.
Lovely to speak to you guys. Take care.
Humphrey Ker there, actor and executive director of Wrexham.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.